Welcome to GearCheckGames. This is part 3 of our commentary for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles.
Sweet
Last
trick.
time... Oh, thank you. Last time we made our way through Marble Garden Zone and Carnival Night Zone, but in this part we are going to be taking on the coolest, the wildest, and the grooviest zone of them all, Ice Cap.
Sonic Snowboard!
Well, he used to.
I like that in this part, there's like, if you wait for Tails to come to you, he might, like, go behind you, and it shows that in that part of the level, Sonic isn't behind, like...
Bye, Tails.
Or
He's
he
not
might just
behind
die.
like a pile of snow, he's actually in front of it and colored completely white.
Yeah, Tails transcends all. You may think he's dead, but he is in fact...
Oh
God!
Yeah, those
It
things
delays you.
Yeah, Tails can break you out of the ice, but a lot of times he's not wise enough to, and you'll just take a hit.
Okay, this zone does not look as complicated as the last one, but it looks like it looks like it's one of those that you better know it well, or the obstacles will mess you up.
Well, there are a couple tricky little sections in Ice Cap, but overall I'd view it as kind of a breather level. Like, compared to some of the other ones, it's fairly short and fairly straightforward. The only really kind of weird part is when you're sliding on that little ice block, you have to know when to jump off. But other than that, it's not too bad.
Oh, so since you said this is a breather zone, I have a question. Since I'm kind of new to the series, is this a good time to talk about what all the power-ups do?
Oh, yeah, I've probably been abusing them excessively over the last few zones, but yeah. Sonic 1 and 2, and CD, of course, had the standard barrier, which is basically a free hit, you know, so you don't have to lose your rings when you accidentally take a pot shot.
Yeah.
But this game has elemental variations that all have different properties, and I do something very dumb here.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, once that block gets going, you can't reverse it.
Wait, Tails?
Wait.
Sonic is dead!
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay!
Wait, Tails can come back infinitely, but not Sonic, unfortunately. So, a moment of silence for our fallen hero.
He's This game has
How could
permadeath.
this happen to me?
Yep.
Wait, is that a thing? Like, you can't lose Sonic in some levels?
No, my recording quit halfway through launch base, and I wanted to make a joke. So thanks to my faulty, well, okay, not my faulty capture card, but my unfortunate experience, we're gonna be viewing the rest of this game through the eyes of Tails.
Are we really?
First,
Yes.
so for a second I thought this was like a new feature in a.i.r, and it was like, yeah, if you lose Sonic, then you can like play as Tails, and if you die as him, then you lose the life.
Yeah, it's like Encore mode, but not.
Yeah.
So wait, so you lost the entire half of the recording?
Well, no, it recorded everything up until like a minute into launch base. I just thought that would be a natural place to like switch over to Tails. Cause like, I don't know, I guess I haven't watched that many playthroughs of this game, but you never see people playing as Tails. And I also wanted to highlight one cool addition they added to his move pool in this game.
Oops.
The ability to endlessly run into that boss and take hits. No. They gave Tails the ability... Well, obviously he can fly, but in Sonic 3 a.i.r, they added the ability to curl up and cancel your flight, which makes certain enemies and bosses much, much more manageable to deal with. Like, the boss we fought in Marble Garden, where Tails was carrying Sonic, and we had to, like, boop Robotnik in the head as he flew by.
Yeah.
Tails can't normally do that. Like, you have to steer him into Robotnik with his tails. Like, his tails are the only thing that can damage stuff.
Wait, how does this work? Oh.
So just letting him curl up just makes him feel so much more fluid and enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was never really a huge...
explained what happened. Just let the audience be like, wait, that can happen.
Yeah, they'd be none the wiser, wouldn't they? Since we were the first people ever covering this obscure gem.
Aww.
Bye, Shield.
Yeah, we'd be the famous Let's Play that showed a weird feature in the game that nobody ever saw.
Yeah, I died as Sonic, and all of a sudden I was playing as Tails.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could pass it off as a creepypasta. Sonic is dead for good.
Yeah, I went back to the file select screen and it said Sonic drowned.
you see this picture of Tails, and he's got like an eye patch and a cigar, and he's like, Sonic's dead. Now I gotta be the hero Mobius needs.
Pretty much. Also, I have a really bad time with some of these ramps in Ice Cap Act 2.
He can only fly so long, can't he?
Yep.
Yeah. After a while, he'll tucker out.
And this is a very vertical stage compared to the last couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole different path you can take, too, which I think Knuckles has to take because of his lower jump. Yeah, see, there it is again. But, if you go, like, to the bottom of the zone, instead of this, like, nice, peaceful path up top, you'll go through this tricky, kind of waterlogged platforming section. Like in the caves. And I tend not to go that way because I'm not very good at it, but, you know, I suppose death comes for us all eventually.
I like those little crystal trees, whatever those things are. Those are red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ice Cap is really... I didn't notice a lot of it until this, like, rewatching this footage, honestly. But Ice Cap is a real visual showcase for, like, the sprite work and the layering in this game. Like, not only do you have that nice ice flow going on in the background, but in Act 1, if you look into the background, you can see these kind of, like... almost, like, in between, like, the cracks in the ice, but it's, like, super... It's almost like a big canyon in the background, but you're, like, looking into it.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
I will say those backgrounds really give some depth to these levels.
Yeah. One bit of trivia I know about Sonic 3 is that making things, like, appear 3D was kind of a big deal for the team in this game. And I think they really did a good job as far as the sprite work, but... apparently their original plan was to make an isometric Sonic game as Sonic 3, which, I mean, crisis
like
averted.
Sonic 3D Blast or whatever.
Yep, yeah, because we all saw how that turned out. You know, in spite of a pretty awesome soundtrack, I don't find myself returning to 3D Blast all that often, unfortunately.
Both versions of 3D Blast have great soundtracks.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'll always stick up for the Saturn version. I always hear people, like, praising the Genesis soundtrack, and maybe it's because I grew up with the PC version of that game, but I've always preferred the Saturn. Not knocking the Genesis, just, you know.
God, this speed up in these bonus zones really gives me some, like...
Well, yeah, these aren't quite so bad to play in terms of, like, visual motion sickness, but, like... Uh-oh.
Sonic's trying to get back in.
He's coming back. This is a creepypasta.
How dare you steal my game?
He's like Kratos clawing his way out of the underworld.
It's Sonic 3, damn it.
I died as Sonic and he just
it?
didn't come back. I was playing as Tails. Then I looked at my game cartridge and it said Tails 3 and Knuckles.
That's all of them.
Yay, finally.
So
yeah, that was the one I goofed in level 1.
I love how Sonic did all the work getting 6 of the emeralds and Tails just finishes it off and gets the benefits.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Tails will get his comeuppance at the end of this playthrough.
Super Tails!
Now Tails can be Super Tails.
So is Super Tails...
That's actually another addition from Sonic 3 a.i.r. Because in... Okay, this is getting a little bit into spoiler territory, but once we get to the Sonic and Knuckles zones, there's another set of emeralds to collect. Oh. And in the original release of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Tails did not have a super form unless you collected all 14 emeralds.
Oh gosh.
But here, they gave him one.
He's
which is basically just kind of a... Yeah. Well, he's invincible and he's got a speed up power up.
Oh.
Cool.
But, like, he doesn't change
that boss,
visually.
by the way. That boss, by the way, is a real pain. But you made it look easy.
Yeah, well, okay, I blatantly cheated, but
like,
you know.
What I try to do with this game is try to beat it without losing a life, and that's one of the spots I usually lose it on.
Yeah, his little ice flamethrower can really screw you over if you're... I find a lot of these bosses...
Because I just want to lose Sonic forever.
Is
It can happen to you!
Oh, you're doing this. Nice.
Wait,
Okay,
what
I
is
tried
this?
to do this, but look, they stop appearing. I think they fixed it for air.
So people that didn't know is those birds keep spawning and you can just stack up on 1-ups.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the
Yeah,
infinite.
you're-
It's like kind of like the infinite life glitch in I don't want to call it a glitch, more of an exploit in Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, what? It
So
disappeared.
now that we have all of the emeralds, the special stage rings just give you 50 rings now,
Oh.
which is the minimum number of rings you need to transform into your super state.
So I guess you just stay super until your rings run out.
Yep.
Yes, you do. And
then you
another nice
die.
feature of air that I just remembered there is that you can actually cancel your super state with a push of the.
Oh wow.
Well, depending on which controller you're using, the topmost button on the face of your controller. So.
Is that the death egg in the background?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I really like that.
Yeah.
'Cause I've never seen this stage before.
Yeah, this is the final zone of Sonic 3 launch base,
What? Oh.
which I don't know how I would have felt in 1994 if I was playing this game and like this was the conclusion.
Yeah, this
'Cause,
is
like,
like
this
kind
is
of
a
a
fine-
lame final stage.
Yeah,
Really?
like
I love this
I
stage.
enjoy this. I like these visuals and I like this music, but I don't know if it really screams like Endgame to me.
Oh.
But
It feels like it would be the second to last level,
yeah, like your
and
Metropolis
like the
or
last
something.
level is the Death Egg.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't go to Death Egg
Oh.
in Sonic 3?
Nope.
Oh, strange.
Yeah. You actually do go to Death Egg in Sonic 2, though. They never show you the exterior of it, but the final boss fight does take place on board the Death Egg.
Is that
Oh, so there is 2 Death Eggs.
Well, no, the Death Egg in this game is the one from Sonic 2. Like, this game's
Oh, right.
story
Is this
picks
a
up right.
prequel?
No, this takes place immediately after the ending of Sonic 2, because after you just defeat Robotnik on the Death Egg, it falls down and lands on the floating island, which causes it to fall into the ocean, and that's when Eggman like meets up with Knuckles and
So
starts
he's rebuilding
working
the
with him.
Death Egg.
Yeah, he's rebuilding it and trying to launch it. Hence,
So just
launch
like
base.
Star Wars.
Okay, they didn't destroy the Death Egg. Okay, just yeah.
You not going for these rings is really making me.
I'm just waiting for that sweet, sweet lightning barrier,
Ah!
and I've been skunked.
You got water barrier.
Also, I believe in an interview with FTCR, they confirmed
okay.
that Jun Senoway
Oh, yeah.
composed the music for the bonus stages,
Oh, yeah.
which is his first work on the series, apparently.
This level's kind of confusing.
Yeah, this one can get a little bit labyrinthine, and honestly, there are times in Launch Base where I'll like fall down a tier, but it won't be immediately clear from the level design which direction I'm supposed to go in, so I'll spend like 30 seconds going the wrong way only to get launched backwards by a spring once I hit a dead end.
There's a lot of trolley bits on here too, like the placement of those flamethrowers. Like, I don't like those.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those Sonic zones where you kind of have to earn the like there are fast parts where like the level design just makes you go fast, but to really speed through the entirety of this level, you do kind of have to get a feel for the layout and not, know what to anticipate.
Is this another one of those levels where you almost time out just because it's so big?
You can't
I
get
never
lost.
have, but yeah, it is, like I said, it is kind of maze-like.
Oh, here we go.
I think we're getting pretty close to the end, though.
Yeah, you're getting close to the end of the act.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
The man
Also,
egg himself.
apparently, if you use debug mode, you can attack that Robotnik, and eventually, if you land, like, thousands of hits on him, he'll explode.
Knuckles,
Nice.
please.
Knuckles is just like, what happened to Sonic?
You killed him, you monster!
Yeah, I love the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when our dear Lord and Savior Sonic left us back in Ice Cap, there was like a few frames before it faded back to the act screen where Tails like respawned and was like in the middle of the screen where Sonic was when he died.
Sonic will go on, brother.
No, he's been waiting for that. He wanted Sonic to die so he could be the star. Also, I don't know what I'm doing in this bonus stage. I already have a lightning barrier.
Tails is like, I'm Captain now.
It's just so much fun.
You just want all them rings. You just want to be able to go Super Tails anytime.
Oh yeah. So to get to this point with Tails, I had to basically replay the entire game, which is a lot worse than it sounds up to this point. But I was being really careless just to like speed things along. And by the time I got to Ice Cap, I don't know if you noticed, but I only had 3 lives.
Oh,
whereas Sonic, I had like 27 or something.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to play a little more careful here and build up some more.
No.
Is this the music you were talking about earlier?
This is the mini-boss music, yeah. With the little voice samples that may or may not be Michael Jackson.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, when since this game gives you the option to like change between the Sonic 3 music and the Sonic and Knuckles music for like the jingles and stuff, I usually go with the Sonic and Knuckles ones, but the mini-boss theme is the one case where like Sonic and Knuckles, or sorry, Sonic 3 is like clearly superior.
Oh, what is this? What are these weird slides?
Yeah, now we're gonna add water into the act.
Yeah. Another nice little thing about Sonic 3, I forget if I mentioned this in a previous part, but I really like that, as opposed to the previous games, this game did a really good job of making the acts within a zone feel really distinct from each other. Even in... Oops. Okay.
Standing still!
Tails has a demon in him.
Sneakily put the moonwalk in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we might need to get Tails some help. But yeah,
he's still traumatized over losing his best friend.
Tails is like, this is how you go fast, right?
No, this is what really should have happened in Sonic Forces. You know, after Tails has lost it. Quote unquote.
Oh, I didn't notice in the transitionals there's a little air moniker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. They obviously they modified that for this mod.
Yeah, I like that.
One thing I kind of missed though from the Sonic 3 Complete ROM hack is that for each zone they added like little unique art. Like for this, you know, every zone has that little palm tree. But in Sonic 3 Complete, they added a unique little art asset to distinguish each zone.
Oh god, those things can shoot through walls.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's always seems like there's a slow, like, waiting for blocks section in every classic Sonic game where there's like an enemy firing projectiles at you.
God, those spikes back there were trolly as hell.
Uh-huh. Well, it's one of those situations where, like, if you don't try to play the game, you won't get hit.
By the way, something worth noting, in Vanilla 3, that invincibility box is a Robotnik box, and if you hit it, you get hit.
Oh,
so
is it really?
Yes, so it's like, you're like leaning right next to it after that.
Uh-huh.
After that pipe adventure. It's a truly move.
Yeah, I don't remember that, because I usually don't make it this far when I play Sonic 3 standalone. But... Because, like, the only one I know is the spring in Hydro City. They changed to a 1-up.
I'm guessing that laser is, like, lethal.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to make sure Tails isn't carrying any strange packages to the launch base zone.
Speaking of, it's like the security checkpoints in FF7. It's like, I hope you brought your papers with you, Tails.
Oh no.
You forgot to bring your paperwork.
Miles.
Don't let it happen again.
Can you imagine him, like a white button-up doing office work?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't get my master's degree for this! I'm a master engineer!
I honestly don't really want to imagine Tails with the proportions of an adult.
One day he'll grow up and he'll be that fox from that Disney movie.
Robin Hood?
Friggin' Zootopia Fox?
Zootopia, yeah.
Nick Wilde or whatever?
Yeah. That's his real name. He just tells everyone it's Miles.
What about the Fox from The Fox and the Hound?
You mean Todd?
Oh yeah, they do have names, don't they?
Yeah.
And his best friend, voiced by Kurt Russell.
If you read the original story, you would have known that.
Yeah, read the manga before you watch the anime.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm sorry, Disney Senpai.
Okay. If you are going to read the original, just bring it a tear. Be prepared to cry.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Now, I may have done that on purpose just to... Oh, who am I kidding?
Oh god, Tails has a fire shield. That's like giving a child a gun.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the elemental barriers. So the lightning one gives you a double jump and magnetizes rings. The fire one gives you it makes you well, okay, all of them make you immune to corresponding elemental attacks.
Yeah.
But the fire one gives you a little air dash, and the bubble shield gives you a bounce. But you can only use these moves when you're playing as Sonic.
Yeah.
Which I guess is supposed to be one of his abilities.
Oh, Tails can't use them?
No, he can't.
Oh.
Which I would assume is probably
a move that lets him fly anywhere he wants.
I love how he needs this to fly when he can just fly. You know?
Yeah. No man, we gotta do this the way Sonic would have done it.
Oh, Knuckles.
Well, see you, Knuckles.
Get away from
nice
this
knowing
engine.
you.
This thing's gonna fry you, Tails.
Yeah, this massive
Knuckles
rocket
is
exhaust.
just dead down there.
Yep. Well, look at how big these engines are.
Jesus, that
I don't
water's
favor
gotta be
his chances.
boiling.
Yeah.
So do you just have to hold right, or is he doing this on his own?
This is a cutscene.
Oh, okay. There's a
What a
wall of
cutscene
fire.
it is.
Yeah, you see, Sonic isn't hold right to win because the game holds right for you. So yeah, what we're experiencing right now would have been your final boss for Sonic 3. Don't worry, he has multiple phases, it's not just this.
I was about to say, is he just a caterpillar from the desert zone in Mario 3?
Oh god. What, the Pokies?
Yeah, Pokies, yeah. the pokey little Eggman.
Yeah.
Pokey little flat biscuit.
So this here is our real final boss, which if you're playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you're not going to see this unless you're playing as Knuckles.
Okay.
I kept my invincibility turned on because this boss is much, much harder to fight when you don't have Sonic's insta-shield, which I kind of threw under the bus in a previous part, but is actually a really helpful ability for fighting bosses. And here's where my scheme kind of falls apart, because I thought you could damage this enemy like when he's on the ground like that, just by like jumping into him or walking into him, but no dice.
He's got a very particular hitbox, doesn't he?
Yes, this is a pretty hard. This is worthy of a final boss.
Yeah, this really is. I would honestly say this one's harder than the one in Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and because I canceled my super form, which is not something the game is naturally equipped to deal with, it cut out the awesome final boss music and replaced it with this.
I was going to comment on how it's nice that the final boss music takes priority over the super music.
Uh-huh. See, that's how you're supposed to fight that one boss.
He's still exploding to this day.
Yeah.
It's because Eggman's full of hot air.
That's some of your typical A+ Sonic Team sound design. I'll use your chaos control.
I am loving this
slowest
music.
dramatic fall ever.
He's just floating gracefully down. It's all good.
He really put some distance between him, that platform and the death egg in like 1 second.
That's how physics work.
Yep.
Find out more about physics in Part 4.
Yeah.
When we begin the Sonic and Knuckles levels. Woo!
Yahoo!
It'll start out with Eggman's funeral.
Oh no! Yes, tune in for a very special episode of GearCheckGames. See you then.